All right, I was in mute. How about now, guys? Oh my God, I was in mute. All right, sorry about that. Again, let's start over. Welcome everybody. Sorry about that. I was for some reason my microphone was in mute. Uh, Thank you again, and thank you guys for the guys that showed up, and anybody that is looking at these later on the replay. I really appreciate it. Please, guys, like it and share, so to see if we can help somebody with the things that we're going to talk about today. Now, what I was saying is I was actually talking a little bit about who I am, just for those of you that don't know me. I have a good history in real estate now for about 20 years, and I've been investing now for the last 10. I also been doing in the last few years helping some of the other new real estate investors out there uh, raise funds for their deals and to be able to get their deals done. So, but today is not about me. It's more about you guys and see how we can help you and your business and kind of offer you a different perspective of what's going on out there. And kind of talk to a few of my friends that are being kind enough to say yes to me and be able to share their experience and share what they're doing today, how they're what they've been doing in the last few weeks, and how they're being uh, navigating through these times, and how what they're looking for in the next few weeks, in the next few months, and how they're preparing to continue to work through this crisis. So for some of you, this might be the first crisis going through, and for some of you, it might not. It might be the second one or the third one, so or more. But the idea is to kind of give you a different perspective. Okay, so kind of so you can see what we all going through. We're not exempt of what's going on out there. So of course, um, all of our businesses are being affected in some way for through about because of this crisis. So what I wanted to show you is kind of uh, um, an insight of what's going on with us and some of the people that are investing right now. And if you are investing, to kind of give you also a different perspective of how we're doing with that. So, but the idea it would be. Uh, I'm just gonna go ahead and start with my new guest. This guy was someone that I met a long time ago. He's a long-term investor. He's been investing for the last 10 years. He's a wholesaler, fix and flip, an expert on wholesaling and fix and flip, lease option rentals and short-term rentals. He's one of the, I would say, most active real estate investors and one of the most active wholesalers that we have here in Chicago. And he's also loves to share his knowledge with the people. He likes to mentor people and share, all everything that he knows with people that are liking to start in real estate. So, but without further ado, I'm gonna bring him in. His name is Russell Walker, and here it is. Hello, Russell. How are you?
Hey, what's up, Christian? How you doing, man?
Hey, can you hear me well?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hey, I was in mute in the first few minutes, and thank God that some of the guys online texted me and say, "Hey, we can hear you." So I sort of have to restart again what I was saying. So, but again, thank you, man, for joining me. The idea with these lives, like I told you earlier, and I was telling everyone earlier that it's just to offer a different perspective on what's going on out there, right? With different investors like you, and just kind of show people what's going on with your business and how you've been affected with the crisis and how you are, kind of adapting to it and how you are being able to kind of change some of the things in your business to just stay on top of your game. You know what I mean? I know that you're not stopping. I know that you keep going and that you're you know always on top of your game. You're always trying to stay on top of what's new on real estate, right? So why don't we start first, Russell, for those that don't know you, just to give him a little bit of, tell him a little bit about yourself, how you got started, and and we'll start from there.
Yeah, so I got started around 10 years ago, just buying and holding real estate, and kind of started backwards, where it was buy and hold first, and then led to rehabbing, then that led to wholesaling somehow. So I kind of started backwards where everyone else starts.
Okay.
But when this Airbnb thing hit, yeah, I mean, like we got like 60 plus Airbnbs, all the reservations got canceled, all like 7 or 8 wholesale transactions where they're about to close got canceled because of hard money lender paused lending, or the buyer just simply got scared and just all of a sudden said, I don't want to buy because I don't know what's going to happen to the market.
Right.
So
But you got started right after the last crash, right?
yeah, exactly.
Okay. So was it around what, 2009, 2010?
2009.
Okay.
Yeah, 2009 about it started. Yeah.
Right
I
after
was
the
learning.
crash in 2008.
I was learning for like 2 years before I did anything. So
Okay, right. So no, that's fine. But obviously, I mean, it was one of the factors that kind of brought you into real estate, right?
uh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because you saw properties like in my where I grew up. I'm in my parents' neighborhood. I'm at my parents' house right now, taking care of them. But it in at back in the day when 2007, 2008, there was no multi-unit that could cash flow over by Portage Park in Chicago. They're all overpriced. Like there's no way that you can cash flow a 2 unit or a 3 unit. But all of a sudden the market crashed, and then now you can see that there's actually cash flow in these properties. So that's when I started buying some multi-units, getting mortgages, buying multi-units in the north side of Chicago. I bought
Okay.
like maybe 10 or 12 multi-units using getting mortgages, borrowing money, using my own cash when I first started.
Okay. Okay. And then, what make you, jump more or got into more into wholesaling?
Well, I got into rehabbing first.
Right. Right. So you got into
So
fix and flips or just right first?
yeah, we started rehabbing, doing fix and flips.
Okay.
And then the we didn't see any really good deals on the MLS. So we started doing some off-market marketing for fix and flips
Okay.
for buying holes, and then that led to a lot of good leads. But some deals were not in the neighborhood we would buy in, so we would just pass on those, and then that kind of led into wholesaling, where we just started learning how to wholesale, make money off those leads.
Okay. Okay. Great. And then obviously, you started wholesaling and you also do lease options, right? You started doing when do you started doing lease options too?
Yeah, when I first started, we would just do normal lease, normal rentals. So
Okay.
I had these 12 properties that were normally leased, and then it was, I was doing everything. I was the manager, the I did everything, collected the rent, did the minor repairs, so it was a big headache. So I learned rent to own, and then I turned any vacant unit that went vacant or their lease expired, I would ask them to leave, and then I would try to find a rent to own client instead on the properties that I own. and then that led to self management. So the rent to own client, we had them manage the property themselves, and I'm hands off. I'm just collecting the rent.
Okay.
So so it was more of you know, hassle free way of managing the properties, because the tenant buyer, who's going to be eventually be the owner, is responsible for taking care of majority of all the repairs.
Okay. But obviously, I mean, throughout these last 10 years that you've been investing, I mean, you've been going through a lot of changes in regards of, the market, right? So, tell us a little bit about, some of the changes that you saw from the moment that you started, right? Because you started right after, the last crash. And then obviously you've been going through the search of the real estate in the last 10 years now, right? And now, boom, now we got COVID again. So,
Yeah, like I said, as soon as it hit, we lost probably close to over $200,000 in profit that would have came in. So we lost a ton of money because we had probably at least 60, 70 reservations canceled. That alone was probably 100 and something
with
thousand dollars.
and that's with short-term rentals, right?
Yeah.
You were done? Okay.
And then,
Um,
like I said, we had about 8 canceled closings. That was, I don't know how much profit was that, but that was probably well over 150, somewhere around there.
right.
Um, but it's turning around. So like, yeah, the crisis hit. People got scared and they backed off. But the buyers are coming back around. So we have probably 9 deals, wholesale deals that we have a buyer for that should close within this month. And then the Airbnbs are starting to pick back up. They're nowhere near where they should be. Like we're
Right.
still we're still probably like getting 50% off of what we're where we should be, but they're starting to pick back up as people are starting to book a little bit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, talking about Airbnbs, actually, I was watching a video yesterday of one of his founders. Can't remember the name of the guy, but one of the Airbnb founders, and they were talking about, what are they doing to kind of navigate to these times. Obviously, he talked about his company and how, Airbnb got hit like, a bomb, and
Mhm.
obviously they were going through a lot. They're still going through a lot on their company, but at the same time they started doing something that is kind of like what we're doing now. So they're starting to listening to people, and they're starting doing sessions where they were listening to their hosts. And I think that they're done. I think they say that they're done over 100 um, listening, events where they're listening to their host and to kind of get some ideas on how they can change a couple of things. And I don't know if you heard, but they started doing monthly staying as well with Airbnb, and they're saying that some of the uh, hosts are having good success with that. Obviously, they were talking about the percentage of their hosts. They have a over something amazing is that they have over 50% of the hosts in Airbnb are women. That's what he
Mhm.
was saying. And then he also was saying that a lot of those women are people that actually they depend on the Airbnb income to be able to pay their mortgage, right?
Right.
So for that reason, they started looking at different things, and they started to listen to their host just to see what are the ideas they came up with. And they're kind of doing a few changes to help everyone that is doing Airbnbs to do that. And they said that right now, actually, they say that 50% of their income on Airbnb is coming from the 1 month staying, over 1 month staying for people. I don't know
Yeah.
how that works, but it's one of the ways that they're kind of maintaining right now the business going. Obviously, hopefully, this is not gonna last too long, but obviously we have still some time to go. So now, and how about, so you said that with wholesaling, you still have now some people buying. How about what's going on with your sellers? I mean, what have you seen with the people that were selling the properties? Have you been able to maintain some of those contracts, or some of those contracts cancel, or because
Yeah,
obviously now some of the government is offering to pay their, not to pay, but that they can skip some of the mortgages and stuff like that, obviously, right?
yeah. Right now, we're getting a lot of long-term bookings because of uh, traveling nurses or people that just want to be quarantined away from family that's sick.
Okay.
So we're getting a lot of local people that are booking for long term, like a month or so. Um,
Okay.
yeah, so that's true. We're not getting obviously we're not getting a lot of outside. Our policy before was we
I see
don't
that.
rent to any local. We only rent to
Mm-hmm.
people out of state. But
Right.
now we're opening that up and letting anyone book because I mean not just anyone. We're not letting people book that maybe have bad reviews or no reviews at all and
Right.
trying to rent for a one night or two. We know that's probably going to be a party. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we are seeing a ton of long term bookings more so than short term.
Yeah, and that's obviously that's going to come back, and it's a great way for people to start making money right away, right, on the market once we go back to a little bit back to normal, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
once they open
uh-huh.
it up, I believe Airbnb will skyrocket because of uh, they're gonna want to be in like a home to themselves, rather than a hotel where there's 100 people
Right,
in a lobby.
rather than public places,
Yeah.
right?
So I think the
Mm-hmm.
Airbnbs in the long term it will benefit Airbnb because I think people are gonna prefer Airbnb over hotels more now.
Right, right. So, and how have you been able to, work with your rentals, for example, right now? Have you been having some issues with people not being able to pay right now, or
Oh yeah.
yeah?
So yeah, we have quite a few tenants not paying rent. And it's just expected. They can't, you know, they lost their job. They can't pay the rent. I mean, I know some. I know probably about I would say 50% of the tenants are not paying the rent right now. So
Okay.
yeah.
Have you been able to also obviously apply for some of the mortgage reliefs yourself as well for some of those properties?
Yeah, we're working on um, being able to do furlough where you try to skip 3 months and put it on the back end of the payments,
Right,
which
right,
a
right,
lot of
right.
lenders are going to be very flexible with you
Yeah.
doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I've seen that. I was talking with someone the other day that they're working. They have their mortgage with Wells Fargo, and they call and they didn't even, to honestly, they didn't even ask any questions. They really say, well, okay, we'll give you 3 months right away, and then we'll see if there's any need for more. But it was like very straightforward, no questions asked. You know, they gave them 3 months right away. So that definitely helps. And I think that that's one of the things that, a lot of real estate investors out there probably kind of facing, that they need, to skip a few payments probably on their mortgage if their tenants are not paying, right? So that definitely, hopefully, a lot of them are taking advantage of that, and they're able to get some help with that. I have some of questions here online, Russell, and they were probably talking. Keith who was talking about Airbnbs. I think he was asking about why didn't you not rent to locals before, right? When you're talking about Airbnbs.
The locals that have no reviews, we automatically deny because those are the people most likely to throw a party, damage the house, steal. have all their family and friends over, so we try to avoid the locals that have no reviews. And
Right, Keith. I mean, usually, with Airbnbs, I mean, they try to go with people that have the review, that they have some history with Airbnb, so that way they can, you try to avoid the different problems or parties that sometimes happen at, people that come overnight and they just want to rent your place. You're just trying to avoid trouble, right? So. Uh, okay, so let's go into a little bit more, Russell, and how are you maybe preparing a little bit more for the future? I mean, what do you see happening in the next few months? What do you see? How are you preparing your business to kind of, move forward, in the next few months?
well, we're turning a lot of the Airbnbs into rent to own, so that's a good
Okay,
strategy. There's still a lot of people working, still a lot of people that can pay rent. So we're looking for we actually sold a few of them already. So, but we took it off Airbnb and then we put it rent with option to buy. Um,
okay,
and that's good because they put 5 grand down or whatever, and then that covers your loss as far as the last couple months. So we're doing that with the Airbnbs, turning them the rent to owns, and and then wholesaling. We're actively going harder to find new buyers.
right,
We're not actively like just hitting our old list with the old buyers list because there's gonna be a lot of buyers that are not buying any that were buying before but are not buying now because maybe they have 7 flips on the market that they haven't sold and they don't know what's gonna happen to the market
right,
because no one's really buying in retail right now either because appraisers are shut down or cities are shut down. I know
right.
the Cook County Recorder's Deeds Office is shut down actually, and we're still doing some wholesale deals. My attorney just said, we still got to
Can't
our
do it much.
our attorney's still closing them without recording them, so it's because
Right,
there's no one working. You know,
right.
yeah.
So, so that could be a good option, right, for some of the investors out there that actually um, have a lot of properties still on the market that they haven't been able to sell, to maybe jump into lease options, right? An
hmm
option to buy, or rent with option to buy, right?
Yeah. If you maybe have Airbnb underperforming, maybe turn it into a rent to own, or I know some landlords are turning into normal leases. Um, so that's an option.
Okay.
Again, the wholesaling, we're aggressively finding new buyers, marketing to new buyers instead of the old list. And we're still like those 8 that got canceled. We've got 8 new buyers for them that are new buyers.
Do you see? Do you see anything? Do you think that the prices on properties are going to go down in the next few months?
Yeah, because um, people are not purchasing right now because of what's going on. You know,
Right.
so yeah, I believe the people are gonna sellers are gonna keep dropping prices until it sells. Yeah.
Plus, I mean, I heard a lot of people also in the lending industry that that obviously, because of the payment deferral per se program that banks are doing right now, they're allowing people to defer their payment. Um, that is also obviously affecting the lending industry as a whole, and then obviously that probably, even though a lot of people are taking advantage of the low interest and all that stuff. But one thing that I want to mention about that is that if you are if you're thinking about getting, if you haven't yet, but if you're thinking about um, deferring your mortgage payments, talk to your mortgage lender first, because there is a few options right now where you can, I think, I'm not an expert on that, but I mean, there's an option now that I heard that You can still, refinance your home, get a low interest rate that, the interest rate that is going on right now that is really, really low. And they can still get you about 2 months worth of, no payments. So, and that can help you. But obviously, if you're in need of doing it, well, that's fine. I mean, you got to do it. But otherwise, I mean, there is a few other options before you jump into that. Just maybe would be a good idea to get in touch with your mortgage broker. Um, Now. Obviously, at the same time with your sales, Russell, with your deals, have you seen obviously there is a tightening obviously on the lending industry for investors too, right? So now the people are buying uh, investment properties that now need more money, right? So
Right.
um, have you have problems or trouble with some of the investor not being able to come up with the money entirely sometimes on some of your deals? Have that
Yeah.
been a problem as well?
Yeah. I mean, we, the lenders are going the ones that are still lending right now. They're really strict. So they're like,
Right.
instead of 10% down, they want 25% down. Uh,
Yes.
so and then their credit score's got to be 700 or higher. So yeah, it's getting. So we're looking for, we prefer cash buyers, of course.
Right.
But people that have closed deals with that lender before, usually the lender will give some leeway if it's a existing client. So
Mhm.
we make sure that they've closed before. We talk to the lender, and
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 this is exactly the same thing that happened back in 2008, okay, 2009,
yeah,
2010. I mean, we saw the same thing happening, which was to we are, in the beginning the crisis hit, and then banks started closing, which now some of these banks already closed. Some of the hard money lenders already are not being able to lend, or they stop lending completely. But the ones that are lending, at least, they're asking for higher down payment. Now there is still some options out there that you can still get that extra money that the now lenders are asking for your deals. That there's that you can possibly get that as well. But at the same time, this was a couple of things that there weren't before. In 2008, we didn't have the options that the broad options that we had today. There weren't a lot of hard money lenders back then as there is now. Even though a lot of them closed, there's still a lot of hard money lenders out there that are willing to lend. They just want a little bit more down payment, obviously, just to protect themselves and make sure that you have more skin in the game, right? So but it's exactly the same thing. So now, what happened back in 2009, 2010 was that in the beginning, some of the people were still waiting for banks to lend money or to get back in track and start lending money. But then when they saw that banks were taking too long, or they were asking for a lot of down payment to get on these properties, that's when actually the cash reappear, right? That's when all of a sudden, the cash buyers came
right,
out of the woods, or everybody started getting their cash out of their pockets per se to start buying cash, because obviously financing was very, very hard to get. And that's
right,
what the same thing that's going on right now. So it's going to turn into cash buyer market, like we were working a few years ago, right, where there were a lot more. And lately, on I would say the last 5 years, kind of turned into more financing than a cash buyer, right? It was still was cash closing, but they were getting more financing because it was getting a lot easier to get it than before, right? So I think it's going to happen the same thing. There's gonna they're gonna reappear with cash, and then there's other strategies where people are paying with their savings as well. So but
Yeah, like right
Mhm.
now, for wholesalers, I suggest go find the buyers first. You know, like find a buyer first, find out what he's looking for, and then go find the deal.
Right.
Whereas before this, it was just get a deal under contract, and if it's a good deal, you can sell it, and you don't have to worry about it, right?
Right, because there was an abundance of buyers, right? So there was
Yeah,
an abundance of buyers. But when you started, and when I started, it was the same way that the way that you just said now, which is, yeah, we'll find your buyer first, and then you fill those orders per se, right?
right,
You see what they need, and then you go and find it for them, right?
exactly. So
Okay.
yeah,
But
I would actually, if I was anyone in wholesaling, I would actually start with finding your buyers first. So start marketing
mhm,
for buyers, and then go find the deals. Um, because right now you can get a great deal under contract and may not even sell.
right.
Because you're not sending it to the right people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Slowly but for sure it's going to turn into a buyer's market. That's what I believe. I don't know if he continues like this. Obviously I'm going to have the rest of this week. I actually am going to have I'm going to talk to an attorney, and on Wednesday I'm going to talk to Teresa Pansica on Wednesday, and then I'm going to talk to Frank Moncho on Friday, actually. So we're gonna kind of get some insight from them too, just to see what what we what is their perspective of what's going to happen in the next few months on the real estate market. Frank is the guy that has been on real estate for a long time, so he's has a lot of knowledge on on the market, what's going on now, what's going to happen later. So, and he's one of the guys that kind of came, went through the last crash as well. So I mean, but that being said, I think that it's going to turn again into a buyer's market probably. But at the same time, now we have the technology I think that we didn't have back then, or that there wasn't as much of available back in in 2008 and 2009. The technology of finding the buyers is a lot easier now than ever before, right?
oh yeah,
Yeah, I
definitely.
mean, even Facebook, right now we're in Facebook. That's where there's a ton of groups right now where you can find these buyers and people that are interested on getting deals for sure, that you can fill
Right.
those orders,
Yeah,
right?
it's like already a pre-made buyers list, Facebook groups.
Right.
Yeah.
So what tell me a little bit about the marketing. How I know that you're done a lot of different marketing throughout these years, and you tried them all practically. So why don't we tell people a little bit about marketing, some of the things that worked before, some of the things that are working now for you, and what kind of just to give people some ideas of what they can do now to probably get those buyers.
Yeah. So I mean, basically, we started off direct mail, abandoned signs, what everyone else is doing,
Right,
pay per click, stuff like that. Then we kind of uh, re- evolved into just we're just straight cold calling, so straight to the phone,
right. Okay,
which I believe is the best because you're first to the lead. It's cheaper. You can do more marketing with less money. So, um,
right.
for example,
And
we used to spend
you
30.
could be more targeted, right? Right,
Yeah, and you could be more targeted. We used to spend 35,000 a month on postcards, and that same marketing to that same list, hitting them with cold calls would probably be under 5,000 versus 35,000. So
right.
the cost of doing it is extremely cheaper than the old way of doing marketing.
Plus, I mean, obviously, getting the seller on the phone, and being able to understand what's going on with them, there's definitely a power, after that, and you're being obviously able to get a lot better deals sometimes, right?
Exactly. Exactly. So, like if you're not making money in wholesaling or in real estate in general, the only reason is you're not on the phone enough helping sellers. That's it.
Right.
You're just not on the phone enough trying to help sellers get out of their situation. And I
Right.
suggest, if you're a fix and flipper or a wholesaler, you're doing a lot of marketing, you're throwing away a lot of leads, learn how to do rent to own, learn how to do Airbnb, get your license, learn how to do normal listings. And that way you have a bunch of tools you can help any seller in any situation. So any lead that comes across your table, your goal is to help them, Um,
Right.
I think if your mindset is, oh, I just want to, if your mindset is all about yourself and all about you making money, then you already failed. Your mindset's got to be, how can I help the seller out of their situation? And in return, you're going to make money because you're helping another person, right?
Right. Absolutely.
So that's why we
Plus, I
have
mean,
all these different strategies: how to do rent to own, how to do Airbnb, how to list properties, do short sales. Um, we have all these different strategies so that it doesn't matter what any situation the owner is in, we can help them. There's a way we can help them and present an offer that will help them and will help,
right.
and in return, we can benefit by making money.
Right, absolutely. And we're gonna see a new wave of foreclosures for sure. The
Oh
foreclosures, they never stop. But of course, it was a lot better, right, than before. The last few years, they went down, tremendously. But now we're gonna see a new wave of foreclosures after, even after, the time that now, the banks are giving for people, to stay to stay at home
yeah,
without making any payments, because obviously a lot of those people have lost their jobs, and it's not for sure that they're going to get them, back right away, or probably they're not going to get them at all. So obviously we're going to see a new wave of foreclosures, and the idea is to, try to help a lot. I mean, that's what was one of the things that we were doing back in the day when, the big foreclosure, problem hit, this country, and in 2008 to 2009, which, it was very chaotic. A lot of people didn't know which way they wanted to run, and we tried to help a lot of people, helping them even, find another place to stay. So, and I think, like you say, Airbnb now, that didn't exist before, it's going to take, it's going to help a lot with the displacements of people. We saw back in 2008, 2009, 2010, we saw a huge change in neighborhoods,
right.
right? Where people were moving from one place to the other. It was amazing to see how much the neighborhoods change,
Yeah,
in those years.
and what I think is going to be the boom is people moving out of the big cities and into
Yeah.
the suburbs, like where there's like a lot of land.
Well, I mean, that's what, actually, talking about Airbnb, going back to Airbnb, the one of the founders yesterday, I was watching this video. I will send it to you. I will share it also here in the Facebook page. That he was talking that, how what going back into going back to work, and going back into, everybody to, into Airbnb again, to kind of start running again. They were saying that probably, some of the first things that are gonna people are gonna go to, it will be isolated places, right, where they're not, they're going to go on vacation. Some people are going to take vacations after this. So obviously, they're going to go to places where, they can be by themselves and kind of have a relaxed time, and maybe not hit the hotels yet, right? So, and actually, listening to his story, and the story of Airbnb, he said that actually they came out of their idea came out of the crash of 2008. So where, they were actually, the founders were in trouble. They didn't have any money to pay their rent, and they started thinking about, creatively, how to, rent their rooms in their house to generate some income, and that's how Airbnb came out. So
Exactly.
and actually their idea was to help people that were in trouble with their payments, with their mortgage, to use their house as their rooms as in Airbnb to help them pay their mortgage and get back on track. So I think that hopefully this time around they're going to be a big tool and big help for people that are in trouble. That so there's a lot of options now out there that there weren't before, right?
Exactly.
So, and at the same time, I mean, those are some of the things that you help, and you've been helping actually in the last few years. You've been helping a lot of investors in getting into, pushing some of their fix and flips into Airbnbs, right?
Yeah. So yeah, that too. Like, if you're a fiction flipper and you have 6, 7 properties on the market, maybe it's been a couple months they're on the market. Look into the strategy of Airbnb in the property, because if you got all your holding, if you don't make any profit but just get all your holding costs paid for 3, 4, 5 months, that could be 15, $20,000 more in your pocket, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. They actually help you, pay for your expenses and everything. While you sell the property, you can still have the property on the market and do Airbnb, right?
Right. Exactly.
So okay.
Yeah. So
Well, mhm.
yeah. So
Go-
so when I started, I had like, I don't know, 14 properties on the MLS for sale. They were staged already. I tried one of them, and then I didn't think I was gonna make any money Airbnb in Eaton, like far away from the city.
Right.
So they got booked 3 months like right away, and it's like covered all my holding costs. So then I
Wow.
went and turned around and did all the other 13 properties right away, and I went from a negative, probably it was a negative close to 40 grand a month, I think, and then turned that around and it became a positive 10. So negative 40 grand to positive 10, that's a $50,000 difference a month in income in just one strat.
And I think there's going to be a huge market for that. Once we're people are going back to work and the economy starts getting back together in the next few months. I think that there's going to be a huge market for that as well, because there's going to be a lot of properties that they're not even finished yet. I mean, there's a lot of properties that are actually in the middle of construction
Yeah,
right now that they're going to hit the market very soon. So and obviously if there is not enough buyers out there looking for it, there's going to be a market for that as well. So for any investors out there that they see this, make sure they reach out to us. I mean, we can definitely help you do that with your properties. And that is some of, man, that's one of the things that I like about you, Russell, is that you're always very creative and you're not afraid of trying different things,
right,
and you being touching on every single strategy out there to keep your business, stay on top of your business, and that it's all about knowledge, right? So it's obviously the last 10 years have served you very well, and learning about these different strategies by not only obviously studying on it, but also implementing them on
right,
your business.
right. Yeah. And
So
then another thing you brought up too is helping homeowners. Like, we had a lady that was in foreclosure. She had a big house. There was like 4 empty rooms, so
mhm.
we helped her Airbnb all the 4 rooms, and then all of a sudden she can pay her mortgage, she can live, So we just helped the homeowner get out of foreclosure, and pay all her bills, and then
Right there. I mean, it's gonna be. I mean, for some of the wholesalers out there. I mean, wholesalers. I mean, there's these new wave of foreclosures are not gonna be only just to go out and buy. Okay, so I mean, there is a great opportunity here that we can help a lot of those people staying in their home. which before a lot of people wanted to stay home, but they didn't
Right.
know how to really do it. And banks were saying, no, you can't stay there. You can't buy it and then stay in your home. It was just, just a lot of confusion. But now with these tools, even with Airbnb, you can help someone stay in their home by helping them Airbnb their home, right? So or a portion of their home, right? So for sure, there's going to be a lot of opportunity with that too. So
Exactly.
all right, man. So let's tell people a little bit how they can, get in touch with you. I do have, I think, here a slide that I want to share with your information, but I also wanted to um, see if I can. Hold
You can go to Chicago Wholesaling.com. My website. I have free training on there. You can learn more about us. And it's
Okay. So yeah, I don't think can you hear me well when I was off or not? Probably not.
no, we couldn't hear you at all.
Okay. All right. Well, I was just trying to show your information, but obviously that doesn't work. So we're gonna do it this way, and just tell them again how they can get in touch with you, and and see your information.
No. Yeah, my website's bestchicagowholesaledeal.com, and there's free training on there. A lot of good content in the free training, so you guys can check that out. And we have a free webinar you can watch as well.
Right. Awesome, man. I appreciate you so much. Thank you very much for join my first live here for the real estate talk and see and help people. This is not going to be the last. Hopefully, we can talk a little bit more to people and make it. I'm going to try to do this more often with you, so we can show different strategies out there to people. Just along these next couple of months, there's going to be a lot going on, so for sure, there's going to be a couple more times that we're gonna do this again, Russell. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, man.
Right, right. Thanks, man. Appreciate you. Thanks, man.
All right, so everyone, I just wanted to show you again Russell's information. If you want to get in touch with him, again, his website is the best Chicago wholesale deals .com. And he's one of the most active wholesalers here in Chicago, and expanding in some other areas of the U.S. So for sure, give him a ring, or just visit his website. Um, Now I'm going. If you want to get in touch with me, here's my information. I'm gonna let you take a screenshot right here. Let me see, and here, feel free to get in touch with me if you have any questions. If you also, you can write any questions in the chat if you want, and then I'll we're going to respond, or me or Russell, we're going to respond those questions for you. If you're looking to get into more wholesaling, a lot of people out there saying that wholesaling is dead. It's not dead. It's not going anywhere. There's going to be a lot of different ways that's going to happen now, and there is not only wholesaling properties, just contracts of properties for sale. There is other options to do it with, lease options, and other different tools as well. So make sure that you get in touch with us to learn about those things. Okay, so, and the last thing, this live was also sponsored by National Corporate Credit and getunsecuredcredit.com. National Corporate Credit and getunsecuredcredit.com right now, they're actually helping a lot of investors getting the funding that they need, uh, the extra money, I will say, that they need to close on their deals. Right now, a lot of the lenders and a lot of the hard money lenders, private lenders, regular mortgage brokers, they're still lending out there, but they're now asking for a lot more money to lend to the same type of deal, right? So right now, if you were trying to fix and flip a property, they were asking for 10% down, and they were financing out to 100% of their rehab cost, right? Now they went to, okay, now they want 20% down, or sometimes 25% down on the deal, and they're not giving you 100% of your rehab. So you still have to come up with extra money for that. So they're anywhere from 80 to 90% of the rehab. So now, if you look at very quickly on $100,000 deal, just to kind of give you an example, very simple. If you have a property that you're buying with 50 grand, and you need to fix it for with another 50 grand per se, you need total 100 grand to do the deal. You're going to need 20% down for the first 50, and you're probably going to need anywhere from 10 to 20% down for the other 50. So you're talking about that for just a small $100,000 deal. You're looking that you're going to need anywhere from 20 to $25,000, plus fees and points that the lenders are charging, and any of the fees for closing, right? So at the same time, some of those lenders are also asking for reserves money. Okay, so they want to see some money left in the bank after you close, which is they want to see, depending on how long your deal is going to be. If your fix and flip is going to be 6 months, 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year, um, they want to see reserves for the payment of the mortgage for that amount. Okay, so for that term, right? So that kind of, at the end of the day, you end up looking at, maybe 30 grand or so that you're going to need just to make a small deal. So for that reason, National Corporate Credit, getunsecuredcredit.com, is actually providing unsecured funding to help real estate investor fill the gap that right now those lenders are asking, right? For that extra money that those lenders are asking. So, here's a phone number. I'm going to show you a phone number. I'm going to bring the slide up and show you a phone number and a website where you can go and find out more information about them. And after that, we're just going to finish the live. I really appreciate everyone coming. I really appreciate everyone that is looking at this live, and I hope it served you. I hope it helped you. I'm going to be back again on Monday. On Monday, this next Monday, I'm going to bring another friend that is in real estate and also in insurance, and we're going to talk about a little bit more on his perspective of what's going on the market. So without further ado, we're gonna do that. I'm sorry. So it will be Monday. Then Wednesday also. Wednesday I'm gonna have Teresa Pansica, an attorney from a real estate attorney from Chicago. That she's very active and she's very knowledgeable. She's super knowledgeable about short sales, and we're gonna be talking to her about that and what's coming on short sales. And then Friday, at the same time, we're going to be at 11 a.m. We're going to have Frank Montro. Frank Montro is a real estate broker and a real estate investor here in Chicago with a huge amount of experience. And I'm very grateful that these people um, are set to come to this live and kind of share some of their knowledge with you and with me. and to see how we can navigate in the next few weeks, in the next few months with COVID-19. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. And I'll see you on Monday.